Hello, my name is Tori Smith, and I would like to redo the June 10th report for Indianapolis, where 13 children were murdered. 13 children were gang raped by a group of 46 males, a number of 129 times. Mike Pence was there. It was the 190th child that he raped, and he's murdered 56 now. Greg Zoeller has now raped 26 children and murdered 3. Others present were Eli Lilly, John Leiter, corporate executive from Roque. I think I have his name. Forrest Lucas, 2 executives from the YMCA. Oh, there's Jack Phillips is the guy from Roque, or Roche, or whatever. Some kind of medical company. But 2 executives from the YMCA, isn't that pretty sleazy? They pretend to be such a wholesome family. And they both work in Fort Wayne. I can't think of it. Douglas G. Carter, superintendent of the Indiana State Police, with 6 other Indiana State policemen, 8 officers from the IMPD, sheriff of Marion County. Oh, I have his name too. John R. Layton. There's 2 CIA that are always there, Thomas and David. 1 Indiana National Guardsman, 3 FBI agents from Indiana, 4 males from the Army, but they were all from the Pentagon, 5 Army Special Ops, and then the rest were Indiana politicians, 2 from the House, Brian Bosman, Lloyd Arnold, and 6 from the State Senate, Ron Alting, Mike Delph, Brant Hirschman, David Long, Jim Merritt, Ryan Mishler. Sorry. I'm in so much pain I can hardly move. They swore up and down they were going to kill me before this is over. You know, but the good thing that happened was 108, what they call top brass from the NSA said, well, we've had enough of this planet. We're going to take a DARPA ship and leave. Well, they tried, but once up in the air, they were into a tractor beam, and then they were all arrested. Ship confiscated. Okay, the 13 children. We have a 13-year-old boy, a 3-year-old boy from Malaysia. See, all these children were 3 to 7 years old. 3-year-old boy from Malaysia who was raped 67 times and murdered by the CIA agent from Indy named Thomas. 3-year-old boy from the Philippines. He was raped 73 times, and he was murdered by the Eli Lilly CEO, John Leiter. Child number 3 was a 3-year-old girl from China. She was raped 108 times, and she was murdered by Douglas G. Carter, superintendent of the state police. Now, child number 4 was a 4-year-old boy from Japan and raped 65 times and murdered by Mike Pence. Child number 5 was a 4-year-old girl from Malaysia, raped 101 times and murdered by Indianapolis Municipal Police Department officer number 1. I think they have 51 total. 51 officers involved in child trafficking. It's at the Indianapolis airport. I believe it's 10 levels down, but I don't know. You have to go into an elevator. It's just like a simple, completely unmarked elevator. 4-year-old girl from Canton raped 79 times, murdered by Indiana State Policeman number 4. Child number 7 is a 4-year-old girl from Mexico, raped 74 times and murdered by Greg Zoeller. Now, if you remember yesterday, when I was late in the day and trying to make this report, when I was finishing up, I mean, I got everything right, but I was just writing it all down in the wrong place. And it was when I got to Zoeller and said he raped a little boy, because I was like, that's not right. It was a little girl that he raped and murdered. So I just waited, and then redid it. Child number 8 was a 5-year-old girl from Mexico, raped 84 times, murdered by Indiana State Policeman number 6. Child 9 was a 5-year-old boy from the Philippines, raped 81 times, murdered by Indiana State Policeman number 2. Child 10 is a 6-year-old girl from Indiana, raped 106 times, murdered by the CIA agent named David. And it was David and Thomas and Mike Pence that raped and murdered 17 children at Thomas's house in Indy. And he's the one that took the children and threw them in a tub in the basement and dissolved them in chemicals, and then flushed them down the Indianapolis sewer. The girl was abducted by the CIA. Child number 10 was a 6-year-old, 11, a 6-year-old girl from Malaysia, raped 103 times, murdered by Sheriff John R. Layton. Yeah, John R. Layton, from Sheriff of Marion County, which is, Indianapolis. Okay, where were we? Child number 12 was a 7-year-old girl from Tennessee, raped 93 times and murdered by an Army sergeant. And child number 13 was a 7-year-old boy from Tennessee, raped 80 times and murdered by CEO Forrest Lucas of Lucas Oil. And those two children were abducted by a group of criminals called Child Protective Services. And they have a wonderfully fancy sounding name, but the truth is they're pedophiles and collect children to be raped and murdered. I wish I felt better. I hope you're doing well. God bless your hearts.